The Petraeus report on Iraq. Does it reflect reality? Senior editor Paul Jay talks with Real News Network political analyst Aijaz Ahmad. Based in New Delhi, Aijaz is senior editorial consultant and political commentator for the Indian news magazine Frontline.
On September 10th and 11th, General David Petraeus testified in front of Congress on the situation in Iraq. Petraeus' main thesis is that the surge is working. Here's what he had to say.
As a bottom line up front, the military objectives of the surge are in large measure being met. Civilian deaths of all categories, less natural causes, have also declined considerably.
It sounds like there is progress being made. What do you make of this?
All the progress by his own statistics means that the figures have come down to what they were last May and June. We are back to where we were in June 2006, according to his own statistics. There is no absolute decline. It is a decline relative to the benchmark that they are referring to, which is the highest point of violence, that is to say last year, November, December.
Petraeus' main objective in his report is, he says, if they can create this kind of security, then they can have some kind of political solution, political reconciliation. So he's saying if they can maintain this kind of trend through to next summer, the political situation will change as a result of it.
My point is that the only thing they have accomplished by their own statistics is to bring it back to the summer 2006. If that is the optimal condition for political stability, then why there was no political stability last summer? That is, if we believe these statistics. What they don't talk about is the costs of this. You have a situation in which roughly half the population of Iraq is now, according to Oxfam reports, living in extreme poverty. From my point of view, the real indicators are of a very different kind. According to the United Nations, during these very 6 months of the surge, the monthly rate of people fleeing their homes has gone up from 50,000 to 60,000, and 85% of them are saying that they are fleeing their homes because of threat to them because of their sectarian belonging.
Petraeus, in a section called The Nature of the Conflict, describes what he thinks is the underlying cause for the violence. Here's what he has to say.
The fundamental source of the conflict in Iraq is competition among ethnic and sectarian communities for power and resources. This chart shows the security challenges in Iraq. Foreign and homegrown terrorists, insurgents, militia extremists, and criminals all push the ethno-sectarian competition toward violence. Malign actions by Syria, and especially by Iran, fuel that violence.
Petraeus said that the fight is for power and resources, which in some ways I thought was a little refreshingly realistic, because he isn't emphasizing that it's simply some kind of religious conflict. It is a struggle for power and for oil. But on the list of players, personally I was struck by the fact that there's no mention of the United States. Who are the players? What's really at stake in this conflict?
Well, other than the United States, which, as you rightly point out, is the main player for fighting this war for control of resources, as we all know. What struck me in it is that he's still talking about this struggle between communities. Communities do not fight. Militias fight. Notables who lead those militias fight. The United States has done something quite extraordinary, which is that the invasion of 2003 has been used to restore the old ruling class of Iraq, which had been overthrown by the Republican Revolution that went on from 1958 to 1968. All of these people who were members of the core ruling class have been brought back to run this government. The struggle over resources are among various factions of this old ruling class which has come back. So you can't simply say sectarian as if it was simply between the Shia and the Sunni. It is among elite fractions of each of the communities, all of which command a militia or two.